Yeah, it's Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to be creating some Christmas tags, or maybe even some gift tags, or maybe even some decorations for the Christmas tree. And so we're going to be starting off using this die set that you just saw, and I'm going to use the biggest one. It comes with four dies in it, but I'm going to use the biggest one here, and I have cut it out 3 times out of Nina Solar White 110-pound cardstock. So quite a heavy cardstock. Mind you, any cardstock here would probably work absolutely fine. And I'm going to start off just by gluing 2 of them together, and then I'm pretty much going to put those 2 aside. Now I'm using some low-tech tape to mask off the rest of the bauble, and I just want the words Merry Christmas to appear in the middle. And I have done the top and the bottom, and I just need to make sure I do those 2 wee sides as well. So in the middle there, I know it's kind of hard to see with the white, but you can see now it says Merry Christmas. And I'm going to start off with this lighter red color, and I kind of go over the whole thing, and then I decide to bring in a little bit of the Distress Oxide Candied Apple, and that is slightly darker than the other one, and so this is going to be a little bit two-tone. It's a little bit hard to pick up on camera in the end, but yeah, you can definitely see it. Then I'm going over the words with my glitter pen, and that just gives it a really nice shine and really nice sparkle. So I quite like the look of that, and I think I'm kind of pretty much finished there. I'm going to take off the tape to reveal those gorgeous letters on the inside, and I actually left it for about 10 minutes to kind of dry. I had to pop away for a second from my craft table. Then I came back, and I'm going to do the rest of the bauble now. So I am just using, again, a little bit of low-tech tape, and then I am using this, it's kind of like a wax from Prima, and it's called Vintage Gold, and I'm just using my finger to put it on. That's the easiest way to do it. If you don't like getting your fingers dirty, you could definitely use a makeup sponge or something like that, but this works just fine. And this is going to give this little bauble the most beautiful shine to it. And I also need to remember that when I covered up the words, I have a little bit on the side there that I missed out. So I'm just going to kind of mask off that little bit and make sure I get those 2 little side bits done, because that would not look good in the end. And then I'm just going to die cut a little bit of silver mirror cardstock just so I can get that little metal part up the top. This part is really not necessary, it's just kind of something a little extra. Yeah, and anyway, this video was kind of just meant to be a really quick video to give you 3 fast ideas. These seriously took me, I don't know, maybe 20-25 minutes all up in real time to do all 3 of these. So it was just some nice quick options that I sometimes need when putting together tags. Then I have this white glitter cardstock, and I am just going to cut around. You saw me literally trace around the actual die, cut it out in a circle, and it's going to fit perfectly behind my bauble. And this also gives me a place that I can write on the back as well, if need be. Not necessary, but if need be. So I'm just using liquid glue. This is the 2 that I glued together before, and I'm going to pop that one on top so it's kind of becomes quite strong and a little bit dimensional. And then I'm just going to do the same thing and pop this on top. And that pretty much finishes off this one, and we're going to move on to the next one, which is actually a different die set. I will have all of this linked down below in case you're interested. And this one cuts out these 4 little tags. Now I've chosen to show you today the one with the little Christmas stocking and the one with this pine cone because I love these 2. Now I have used a little bit of low-tech tape at the moment to hold in all the little parts of the pine cone itself. So not the leafy part, but the pine cone. It has all those bits that would come out otherwise. So I used a little bit of tape, and then I have run the whole die through with silver mirror cardstock again, because I want that outside ring to be in the silver mirror cardstock. Now I'm removing that tiny little branch part from the inside there, and then I'm just really basically have some post-it note tape, and that I'm masking off the pinecone part. And then I pulled out my finger daubers, and I didn't even re-ink these. I usually just have 1 finger dauber for each color, like that does lights and darks, but for some reason I have 2 of the greens, 1 light one and 1 dark one, so didn't even need to get out ink pads for that one. And then I just quickly stuck a little bit of low-tech tape to the front because I realized I did want to keep all these little bits in. So I have a little bit of double-sided tape here backed with some white cardstock, and that way this will give me a little place to write, just a tiny little place if need be, because I don't really know what I'm using these for yet, so I'm just covering all bases. And I'm using a little bit of Cup of Joe from Hero Arts, I think, is this ink, and I'm just going on the pine cone. And what I really love is the texture that those little bits that I decided to keep in has left with the ink, so I really like how that looks. Then I'm just inking up that little branch that's in the top of the screen at the moment, adding a tiny bit of double-sided tape, and that way I will be able to stick it right back in the middle there. So this one is almost finished, and the only thing that I need to do is add that silver mirror cardstock back on with a little bit of liquid glue, and that is that one. Moving on to the next one, we are going to be doing the little Christmas stocking. Now this one is beyond simple, it's just a really nice, easy one to do. I cut the whole thing out again out of that kind of white glitter cardstock, and then I am just using a little bit of low-tack tape, cutting a very rough little curve with my scissors, and this will be creating the toe of the Christmas stocking, and then I'll use a little bit for the top where I want that part to be white as well. Then I'm using the Candied Apple little finger dauber just to very quickly colour that. And then for the top here, I even quite like it by itself how it looks now, but I am adding on the little white glitter cardstock bit that I had, then the tiny little bit in silver, and then the last thing I'm going to do to this one is use my Marvy snow marker. Now what I do is I kind of put a little bit out on the side there, and I dip back into it, and then I go on my project and I dip back into it, and that's so that I can get lots of the liquid where I want it to go. Now what this is, I think it's meant for like snow or fur or, you know, that kind of thing. So I thought it would be fun to use on my little stocking. And all you have to do is when you heat set this with a heat gun, it kind of puffs right up and it looks very, very cool. It is quite hard to see on camera kind of the effect that it has, but in a minute I will turn this kind of sideways and you'll get a better idea of kind of the dimensional effect it gives. So as I said, these were just 3 really quick, easy tags that are just meant to be small projects when you don't have too much time to craft. And Christmas is coming around before we know it, so I have been thinking about Christmas. So all of these tag dies are from AlinaCrafts, and you can find her on Aliexpress. I will put links down below to her shop. She has some amazing foam tape as well. I am hooked on this stuff. But just to finish off these 3 little tags, I am going to add a little bit of twine to the top of each one. That was today's video. I hope you enjoyed this super quick, fast craft activity, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!